In this video, we're going to discuss about pawn endings in which the pawns are blocked. Hello and welcome to another video on Better Chess Academy, your go-to destination for mastering the game of chess. Today, we're going to discuss about pawn endings, it's the third part. If you haven't seen the other two, please do so. And we are going to discuss about pawn endings in which we are having blocked pawns. There are some special rules, and we are going to see all of them in this video. So let's begin. So in the previous video we have discussed about the key squares, and the blocked pawns have their own key squares, but there is a difference. So when we are having blocked pawns, the key squares are the three squares on the right and three squares on the left. So for the pawn on g6, the key squares are h6, f6, e6 and d6, and for the pawn on g5, the key squares are h5, f5, e5 and d5. So, but what does it mean? Because in the previous video we have discussed that when the king steps on a key square, it's winning. Now, it's not winning, but he gains the pawn. So, if it's white to move, white plays king b3, king g7, king c3, king f7 and king d5. White takes the diagonal opposition, and king e7, king e5, and now black has to step on the right or on the left. If king d7 we play king f6, we outflank our opponent, and if king f7 we play king on d6. So white steps on a key square, that means that he's going to take the pawn, and after king d7, king e7, white takes the pawn and king g8. And now, do you remember if we have to go on the side or to the center? The correct answer is we have to go to the side, to the edge of the board. If we go king f6, black plays king h7, and if g6, king h8, and it's a draw. So we play king h6, king h8, g6 and g7, and it's winning for white. But what happens if we move all pieces one rank below? Now white is not winning, because if king b2, king g6, it's the same diagonal opposition, vertical opposition, and white is going to take the pawn, but now we are not on the 6th rank. So we are one square in front of the pawn, and black takes the opposition. So the key squares for the g4 pawn are f6, g6 and h6, but black doesn't let us go to one of these squares, and so it's a draw, because we have to push the pawn and then it's a draw. So let's continue with one position that it's mutual Zugzwang. That means that whoever moves loses. So we want to reach this position and we want our opponent to have the move. So now if it's black to move, it means that black loses. If king g5, we play king takes e5, king g6 and king d6. And we open the path for the pawn to become a queen. So, in this position, you have to think, I will let you some time, it's white to move and win. So, the correct move is king on c6, and not king on c5, because black plays king e4, and we are reaching the same position as before, and it's our move, so we are losing. We have to play king on c6. You have to remember, in these positions, to threaten the pawn from behind. And when the opponent protects, we play king c5, and it's the same thing as before. So white wins. But if we move the king to another square, so instead of f6, it's on f5, now again we do not play king c5 because king e4 and we are losing. We play king on c6, and now it's black to play and draw. Can you think of a move? The correct answer is king on e6, not king e4 because it's the same as before, king e6, and if king c5, now black plays the move king on e7. Not king on d7, because white takes the pawn and takes the opposition also, and it's winning. Black plays king e7, and if king takes d5, king d7, and it's a draw. So let's see another position. it's white to move and make a draw. So you have to think how we're going to make a draw in this position. The black king is going to take our pawn because the key squares are these. So you have to decide what you're going to play with white. The only move that draws for white is d4. Only d4 draws. If we play, for example, king on d2, then black plays the pawn on d4 and is going to take the pawn on d3, and it's going to be on the 6th rank. So black is winning. But after d4, black plays king c4, and now we have to be on d2 when the king takes our pawn. So we have two moves that are good. We have king e2 and king d1. And when black takes, we play king d2 and we make a draw. So now let's see a position with blocked pawns plus another pawn. And generally speaking, in pawn ending, we want to gain space with our king. And if our king is on the 5th rank, it's usually winning. So white plays king h5, king f7, king h6, and g6. Now, if black takes, we take and we proceed with taking the pawn on the 6th rank and we are winning. And if black plays king h8, this is a tricky move, so that if we take, it's a stalemate. If we play g7, black plays king g8, and maybe we are going to lose also. But we have the move king g5. So we are threatening to take the pawn and then to reach the other pawn, and it's winning for white. So in this position we are going to see some difficult examples. It's white to move and we should choose the route for our king. We can go from b5 to proceed with approaching the pawn. We can go to b4 and we can go to b3. So if you chose king b5, it's wrong, because black plays king f2, king e3, and we reach this position that we saw before with our move, so we are losing. If you chose king b4, it's a mistake, because the black king is going to play king f2 and king e3, and it's the same thing as before. The correct move is king to b3. And if king f2, we play king c2 and king on d1. So we want, when the black king takes the pawn, we want to be on g4 to take the position. So this is the solution. We should go with king on b3. Remember that we are choosing, almost always, we are choosing the diagonal path because we cover a longer distance. And let's see another example. In this position, it's white to move and win. We have blocked pawns on the a file. So we are choosing the diagonal move, the king on e6, because if we play king on e7, black will play diagonally and it's going to make a draw this way. So we play king on e6, king c3 and king d5 in order to prevent the opponent king from reaching the pawns, and it's winning for one tempo. Now let's see another position. This is the last one. So it's black to play and draw. White is going to take the pawns, so we should decide if we are going to go on e3 or c3. You can think a little bit. You can pause the video and think. The correct answer is king on c3. Not king on e3, because white is not playing king e6, but king e5. And if king d3, king f6, and of course white is winning. And if king f3, then white again takes the pawn and king g8 and it's winning. But if we play king c3, it's not winning, because when white takes the pawn, we reach the key squares of the h-pawn, king f7, and we make a draw. So that was all about the blocked pawns. I hope you liked the video. If so, you can like it, and also subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber yet. Don't forget that every Thursday and Sunday we are having a live when we are playing on Lichess, so you can join the team there also and compete with our team. So thanks again for watching, see you on the next video.